Hello, friends. It's Chris,
It's Zach.
and welcome to another episode of Chris and Zach Attack.
Attack. What are we attacking? Let's attack everything. How about not? Let's attack one thing right now.
Blizzcon.
Blizzcon, which is one thing which encapsulates many things, but it's one topic. We're attacking BlizzCon.
BlizzCon is under attack by Chris and Zach Attack.
Coming for you, BlizzCon.
Here we go.
Actually, BlizzCon's over, so we missed our chance to.
That's okay. It's okay. We'll get it next time. Don't worry about it. But yeah, BlizzCon came and went this past weekend. This is the day after, actually, of BlizzCon. So
yes,
lots to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Diablo 3 news. I think it's pretty crazy that they're talking about Diablo at this BlizzCon. It's really surprising. Oh wait, Diablo.
What's Diablo?
Diablo is like the forgotten child of Blizzard.
What is Diablo? Like, is that like some type of like dancing game or?
I think so.
Yeah, it's a dance simulator. All right.
I guess Blizzard hasn't figured out a way to monetize Diablo yet, so they're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much how it is. Although it's kind of funny how you mentioned that, considering one of the things is not going to be monetized that much anymore. So.
Yeah.
But.
Well, which is why they weren't talking about that game.
No, they didn't really talk about that game a whole lot. But yeah, first game we're going to talk about, and I just want to get it right out of the bat, is StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 is going free to play.
Yes, free to play. Like you can play the multiplayer straight up.
Straight up play the multiplayer. Although I don't remember if they said anything about the expansions going free to play as well.
Yeah, I think I kind of read about it. They're like, if you have one of the expansions, you get all of the expansions or something like that. I don't know.
It's possible. Maybe we can go to MMO Champion real quick, just to double check.
I played like maybe in my entire no announcement at BlizzCon. Diablo 3, I see it right there. MMO Champion. You're on the website right there. Diablo 3, no announcements made.
I don't even see StarCraft on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like StarCraft 2. It's free to play. The expansions, I don't know.
Maybe it's on the
I mean, I'm assuming
announce the thing here. Oh yeah, there's the trailer. StarCraft 2 free to play.
Upgrade available.
No, that's about it. Not much to say. I know there was some stuff. I read some stuff.
Well, I mean, I feel like we're
very prepared
for something.
We're very prepared.
Well, I mean, we're prepared about the other ones. I don't know.
Yeah, we're more prepared about the other ones than the StarCraft one. That's for sure.
I feel like this is kind of like leading to something. It's like they're gonna make StarCraft 2 free to play, and then it's gonna go to maybe an expansion or some other kind of update to StarCraft 2 next year, maybe. So it's like step 1, free to play. Step 2. A big update to StarCraft 2 in the future. I feel like that's kind of what they're heading towards.
So, yeah, I mean, that's all we're going to say about StarCraft. I know there were some limitations on it. Like, I think it was like up to level 15 is free to play.
Yeah, I think
level 5 or level 15.
Yeah, like you can play the co-op with like I think it's a computer-controlled ally up to level 5.
Yep.
But you can play the multiplayer for free, which is a lot of people play StarCraft multiplayer. So.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, good for StarCraft. Congratulations, going free to play. Once again, showing us that you are not very relevant anymore.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, we're kind of going in order of the announcements from the opening ceremony, and we do have a lot of the news here about some of these things. So first up, we got Heroes of the Storm. They're getting 2 brand new characters along with a brand new map. Their characters are Hanzo from Overwatch and Alex Straza from the World of Warcraft.
Yep. So they keep chugging along with Heroes of the Storm. They did like a big update earlier. It was this year. Earlier this year, they did like an update to Heroes of the Storm to kind of change up the progression, change up the gameplay a little bit. So now they're keeping updating it. I guess the monetization on Heroes of the Storm is working because they're updating it and they're keeping it going. So I guess something it's going good for Heroes of the Storm.
Mm-hmm. There was some highlights trailer showing what's to come. They're gonna update some stuff on there. Yep. Let's see. From the panel, just reading this off of MMO Champion, from the What's Next panel, their target frame is being added to a game. Heroes in hiding, a new way of showing heroes inside vehicles, Stitches, Gorge, Zagarama, etc. Yeah. Blizzard voice chat is being added to the game client. Performance-based matchmaking is coming. Camera improvements. Team is making stealth more manageable. Standalone tower in towns is being removed. Certain map objectives will be pushed back to allow for longer laning phases.
Yeah, so I mean, they keep updating this game. I mean, obviously, Blizzard's never going to say the game is like done. They're not going to say that about any of their games except for Diablo 3. Diablo 3 is done. It's dead. So just bury it right now. Diablo 3, whenever it came out, 2017, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm. Some quick notes about Alexstrasza and Hanzo. Alexstrasza is going to be a support hero. They wanted Alexstrasza's dragon form to feel massive, and I guess it is.
Cool.
And she heals teammates and can rain fire down from above as a dragon. Hanzo is an assassin hero and has a higher attack range, but his attacks are slower. And
if you pick Hanzo, you're an ass.
What if you pick Genji? You constantly need healing?
Yes, I need healing.
I require healing.
I mean, Heroes of the Storm, it's a good game. I played it a couple times. It's kind of like MOBA light. Blizzard's take on the MOBA, which is cool. I mean, like seeing all these Blizzard characters come together and kind of do battle is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I know when I played as like the Lich King from Diablo. And that was pretty cool. Like they all had like their own unique abilities and stuff. Like his was he slowly gains life after killing a certain number of enemies. Like you kill enemies and you gain your life back. So it kind of adds a lot of replayability. I think Heroes of Storm is a good game. Blizzard agrees because they keep updating it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a fun game. They got a lot of updates coming in for it. So
yeah.
But yeah, moving on, we got Hearthstone. Kobolds and Catacombs was announced.
Yep. I mean, Hearthstone, it's probably the biggest digital card game out right now. So obviously Blizzard is going to keep chugging along with expansions. I mean, and a lot of the times expansions are really good. They shake up the meta. This one's a little bit different though. It's not quite. It's not just like a set of cards. It's kind of in like a single player. Kind of what they used to do. They don't really do it anymore. Where you like buy like a basically like a pack, and it like you get the expansion in single player. They don't do that anymore.
Yep.
So this is kind of like their new single player component to the game.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, you're adding that single player mode. It's called Dungeon Run. You defeat bosses and collect loot. Earn new cards for decks as you progress. But if you lose, your deck gets thrown away and you have to start over. Yep. So that's actually pretty fun. And on top of that, it's completely free.
Yep.
So, and this is a good sign because they've released single player expansions in the past. Typically you've had when they first started doing it, you had to buy them. They were like $25 or something like that.
Yeah, you get like they said it was like wings, so it'd be like the raid. It was like be different wings.
Yeah.
So you get like the first wing for free, and then like to get, I don't know, 3 other wings or whatever it was, 4 other wings. It'd be like $20, like you said, or $19.99 or something like that.
Yeah, something like
and
that.
And then you play through it, and you'd get the cards, but it looks like they're kind of doing away with that system. Well, I mean, they've changed like.
It's probably more because they're probably doing away with it because they make a lot of money off of the cards, just basic cards. It's card packs.
Well, that's the thing. It's like just selling packs. It's people are more willing to spend $1 than they are $20, and you're going to get a lot more people spending $1 on your game than you are $20, and that $1 can add up a lot faster.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Starting tomorrow, Monday, there's going to be a new card from this expansion called Marin the Fox. It's going to be available to everybody who logs into the game. Starting on Monday.
Gotta log in tomorrow.
Gotta log
get that free card.
You'll receive a golden version of Marin the Fox if you attended Blizzcon or have the virtual ticket.
I don't have that.
I didn't get it either.
Yeah, I got like super hyped for the expansion before this. It was like the Lich King one, and then
Frozen Waste or whatever.
and then I kind of just haven't played it all. I was like, yeah, I'm so excited to like jump back in, and then I was like, no, I haven't really played it a lot. Like, dang it. Like I was so pumped, and then I just stopped playing for some reason.
Yep. Let me see. Just looking at their Q&A just to see if anything's relevant. Doesn't look like it really is.
Yeah, I mean, what I found is like there's to kind of make it interesting. Like they change it up. There's like a certain number of bosses. So it's not like you're gonna face the same exact boss every time. It's like a bunch of different bosses you could face.
Yep.
There's eight different levels that you got to get through. When you beat the level, you get a pack, and it contains 3 card choices, and they're pretty like decently powerful cards that are going to impact the game.
Mm-hmm.
You get to pick one of them, and then you play the next level. If you beat it, you get to choose again. So I mean, and then you do well, you get a card back. I mean, it's not that exciting getting a card back, but it's free, so I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's free. Nothing wrong with free. That's for sure.
No. Yeah, and it comes out December. So
December
like
comes out. Okay.
It's coming up.
Nice and quick expansion releases. You announce it, then release it. It's nice.
Hearthstone does not mess around with their expansions. They're like, we're going to announce it, and it's going to be out next month. It's like, oh, snaps. Okay. Like, sure, let's do it.
All right. Next up for some Overwatch news, we're getting a brand new hero called Moira.
Ooh, Moira. Support character. She's got, like, balls. Orbs.
Balls.
She throws orbs.
Wait.
Isn't there another character?
Wait, she throws what?
Balls? I've got balls of steel.
She throws a what?
Balls.
I've got balls of steel.
She's got balls of steel.
She's got balls of steel.
All right.
Yeah, so she throws orbs. Isn't that like Zenyatta? Isn't that the dude? He throws orbs, healing and damaging.
Is a woman. Which one's the Overwatch characters? I forgot what his name is.
I thought it was Zenyatta.
Oh, not him.
No, you're clicking on Winston. Winston's a gorilla, man. Just search Zenyatta.
It's not Zenyatta.
Yeah, it is. No, it's a Z, not an X.
Okay.
Zenyatta.
It is Zenyatta.
Bam! Look at them orbs.
Zenyatta does throw orbs around, yeah, but I don't know if it's the same type of concept though. But
yeah, I mean, obviously they're gonna make it different. They don't want 2 characters to have the exact same power, which would be dumb. So yeah, Moira her. You have more information on MMO Champion.
Yep. So on MMO Champion here, they've got a list of her moves here. Her main primary attack is called Biotic Grasp. Its primary fire is regeneration, which is healing throughput controlled by a meter. Secondary fire is decay, which does damage and fills the meter back up. Small amount of leech. And your shift maneuver is called Fade. It's a small dash, making her invisible, which also grants movement speed. There's Biotic Orb, which is your E. Pulls out 2 orbs. Then the healing one can be activated by primary fire or damage orb by secondary fire. This orb does AoE healing, bounces around, slows down when it is close to a friendly target. And then her Q... Coalescence. Long range frontal beam. This is her ultimate, I believe. That heals allies and damages enemies affected by it. Its ultimate pierces barriers. So, yeah.
So, she pulls out 2 balls and she throws these 2 balls.
Got balls of steel.
I mean, I always like new
balls of steel.
I always like new Overwatch characters because you never know how they're going to switch up the metagame, how they're going to change. Or is it like going to be like a super powerful support, or is it going to be like a forgotten support? You never know. So I always like new.
It's definitely gonna be popular when she first comes out.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. I mean,
sure.
that's always like it always skews like people are going to try to like play the character as much as possible. Once they figure out the usage will balance out.
So yeah, on top of Moira, we also got a Reinhardt origin cinematic story.
Yep.
They're also going to release the Blizzard World map, which is basically like a theme, like a Blizzard theme park.
Yep.
Like imagine the Blizzard theme park. So it's got all of the Blizzard games inside of there, except for Diablo.
Not Diablo. Don't even say all the Blizzard games because I know Diablo's not going to be in there.
What's Diablo? So
don't talk about it.
We got some new skins coming. There's an Immortal Orisa. These are all based on the Blizzard World map. So it's there's a Magni Bronzebeard Torbjorn, Magni Bronzebeard from World of Warcraft.
Yep.
An Immortal, I believe, is from StarCraft. There's a Nova Widowmaker that's a StarCraft theme. Blackhand Doomfist is a Warcraft theme. Barbarian Zarya, there's your Diablo. Butcher Roadhog, also Diablo. Crusader Reinhardt, also Diablo.
All right, fine. I'll give them those.
And then Eco Point Mai, and I think Eco Point's I know it's an Overwatch theme. I think it came from her origin story.
So wait, Blizzard World is an Overwatch map, and they're taking inspiration from Overwatch. Like, do that. So we get three skins from different Diablo characters. All right, I'll take that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and the only real thing about StarCraft 2, I just found it, is StarCraft 2 is going free to play. So. But,
yeah, maybe next BlizzCon next year they'll announce something new about StarCraft 2.
And now for the news that actually matters here in the Blizzard world, the news
what
that
everyone tunes into BlizzCon for.
Most people tune into BlizzCon for World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Yes.
So the first thing they showed us during the opening ceremony was a nice little trailer. Actually, it was the funniest thing because I was watching the opening ceremony and the guy that was on there for World of Warcraft started talking about ice cream flavors. And he was like, people have got their own different flavors. I've got mine is cookies and cream. I love cookies and cream. I'm just thinking to myself, where the hell is he going with this? Like,
what is he talking about?
What the hell is he talking about? And then he's like, but I know what most of you like, vanilla. And I was like, oh my God, they're actually doing it.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft Classic, he announced the trailer announcement for it has come. So this is a topic of considerable controversy over the past year and a half or so.
Yeah, because this was like a fan base thing that Blizzard basically like shut down, right?
Yep, there was a private server, and by terms of service, you cannot run a private server. Otherwise, you're like subject to lawsuit, legal discussions, all that stuff. There was this one called Nostalrius. It was basically World of Warcraft in its vanilla format. There are no expansions whatsoever, and it was entirely free to play. People could get in and play on these servers as it was back when World of Warcraft first came out. And it got very popular. I think it got almost 1 million, close to 1 million players at a time.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so and Blizzard found out and they shut it down because they had to protect their IP. It was completely like within Blizzard's power to do that. Like it wasn't Blizzard saying. It wasn't Blizzard like feeling threatened or anything. Well, I mean, technically they were feel threatened because if they decided to try to make money off of this, their IP is really, yeah. And then another one came around called Elysium. They tried to do the same thing. Blizzard shut them down too. And for the longest time, the question, I think 2 years ago, the question was asked, is Blizzard ever going to make a server dedicated for just the regular World of Warcraft from when it first came out, and they said no, never gonna happen. You think you want it, but you don't want it. That's exactly what they said.
I do remember them saying that.
You think you do, but you don't.
They don't.
And that quote has gone down in infamy. But
yeah, I guess.
Go ahead.
Why would they even say that if they're going to announce World of Warcraft Classic? Like, why did that happen?
I know. But, Blizzard eventually actually took the Nostalrius team, brought them to Anaheim, where Blizzard is headquartered, and showed them around the office. They had a nice discussion. The Nostalrius team brought along a lot of things, including like a signed petition that had I think 500,000 signatures on it or something like that.
Wow.
Saying that people want this classic server.
Yeah.
So we hadn't heard anything for over a year and a half, and now this is the first thing we've heard about it. World of Warcraft Classic coming out.
I wonder when the first expansion is going to get released for this World of Warcraft game. I feel like it's pretty ripe for expansions.
And there basically is they're working on it. There's no real news. They say they want to keep it as close to Vanilla WoW as they possibly want it, and that's about it. So
yeah, because I mean, they basically overhauled every single class in that game. I mean. From all the expansions, the classes, if you compare the classes in Vanilla WoW to what they are now, I mean, they look completely different. I mean, they played completely different.
Yeah, it's a completely different game than it was all those years ago.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Do you think it'll be the very last patch they had before Burning Crusade came out, or do you think they're gonna have a brand new patch that they'll do or something?
It's unknown at this point. I would like to see a progressive thing go on. It could be the last patch before the Burning Crusade patch.
Yeah.
That seems to be the most logical way to put it. They could also release, because the thing is as World of Warcraft grew and grew and grew, they had to change more and more and more. So rather than, so the easiest route would be the last patch before Burning Crusade came out. But another way would be they release the raids at different periods of time, stuff like that. It's hard to say. So
yeah, we'll see what they do with it. It'll be interesting
to
see how this rolls out.
Yep, exactly. So it's definitely a wait and see how it's going to work. So, and don't even ask about expansions, because they're probably not they don't know if they're going to do it or not.
That'd be I just don't know. Because I mean, you start here, it's well, I really want WoW Classic, and then someone's like, well, you know what, my favorite was Burning Crusade. I want WoW Burning Crusade only.
Yeah.
It's well, mine is the Frozen Throne. I just want that. It's so are they going to have servers for the end of the cutoff for every expansion or something? I don't understand.
Yeah, I hope they don't do that. It'll get a little ridiculous, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then after WoW Classic was announced, they released a features trailer for the brand new expansion that's going to come out sometime next year. Yep. World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth.
Yeah, I mean, this is the news that BlizzCon is created. This is what everyone was watching. This, I mean, everyone wanted to know what's next for World of Warcraft. Legion came out, people love it. It really, I mean, I don't know what it is now, but when it first came out, it was a return to form for World of Warcraft.
Yep.
I'm not sure how it ended. I played it for a couple months. I stopped. Not really sure how it ended up. A little down the line. I mean, getting towards the end of the expansion at this point.
Right now,
I thought.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, I thought it was really fun, but hey, you never know.
Yeah, Legion. The thing about expansions is they're all nice and fun and fresh, and then it gets a little tiring. Yeah. Legion's world quest system is a little tiring. It works for a lot of things. It just doesn't work for some things. and they've addressed it. They've updated it. It's decent now, but the artifact system, people, it's a constant grind to keep your artifact empowered and improve over time.
Yeah.
They've somewhat perfected it, but going into the Battle for Azeroth, they got it completely changed. The system's coming back into it, but it's completely changed. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the features. But the main thing about Legion is, and with all expansions, it's awesome at first, and then you start like playing it over and over again, just gets repetitive.
Yeah.
And
Well, I feel like just like the content, like the amount of content you can make versus how fast players get through it, it's always going to be the players are going to win every time.
Yep.
Blizzard cannot create content fast enough because the players will blow through it faster than they can make it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's what it was like with patch 6.2. The Broken Shore was released. There wasn't enough content on the Broken Shore, let's face it. And then Argus was released, patch 7.3, and Argus was good. It was a good couple of weeks because it was a story driven experience. You quested through the story for a day, and then you had to wait a week for the next chapter. But there were only 3 chapters, unfortunately. So
yeah, that's rough.
It got boring after 3 weeks, or maybe week 4 or something like that. But yeah, it's but the thing about WoW is you make your own fun. That's that's
the thing. It's like, yeah, you can be like a player that wants to have the most, like, the newest content and like playing the newest content and trying to get to the end of the game as fast as possible. But I mean, like you said, World of Warcraft, you make your own fun. It's a big game. There's a lot to do in World of Warcraft. It's a giant game.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some of the features for Battle for Azeroth. Firstly, the cinematic was released at BlizzCon, and it is gorgeous. Every time they release,
why don't they just make that World of Warcraft the movie? Why don't they just do that?
Every time they release a cinematic, it just gets better and better and better. Like every single time, it's usually their latest cinematic is the best cinematic all the time.
No.
But anyway, they went into right after the opening ceremony. They went right into the What's Next panel, and this is where they released a bunch of features for that. So the story of Battle for Azeroth initially is going to focus on the Horde versus Alliance faction war.
Which is kind of, we've had a lot of expansions where they don't, because I mean, that is essentially, World of Warcraft is a game, it's a spin-off from a game called Warcraft.
Yep.
And Warcraft is about like a war between like humans, like the Alliance and the Horde.
Humans and orcs.
Humans and orcs. That's what it's about. This is a spin-off. Arguably, this is one of the most popular spin-offs, one of the most successful spin-offs of all time. But yeah, now it's kind of interesting to see them going back. Okay, yes, we are going back. It is a war, and like these people are at war.
So a lot of the focus. So it's hard to tell. Like right now, we're fighting the Legion. Like you said, the last 2 expansions we've had big bad guys that the factions have had to team up to go after. But the thing is when you have 2 factions that initially hate each other, there's going to be some skirmishes along the line. Part of the story in Legion in Stormheim, one of the zones, was focused on the Alliance and the Horde fighting each other. Yeah. Even though there was a looming threat, like, to be defeated.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I think it's interesting when they do that, because it's like, yeah, there's like a big thing that's happening, but also like we still are like fighting and we still hate each other.
Absolutely. And it's gonna be a little it's gonna be pretty nice to have this kind of go back to the go back to this type of focus, because as a role player on the game, it gets a little tiring to consistently go after a single bad guy when it's just kind of like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to fight the Horde. Can I fight the Horde? Or I want to fight the Alliance. Can I fight the Alliance? So
I felt like they're trying to. I mean, because if you like get into the thing where they have to fight a big bad guy every time, they keep having to try to like top themselves with a new big bad guy every time.
Yep,
It's like,
yep.
oh, who's going to be the big bad guy in this expansion? And it's like, well, we got to top it in this next expansion. Like, who's it going to be?
Yep.
So I mean, like when they get back to the roots, it's like, well, you can kind of have it where you take like an expansion off where you don't need to have a new big bad guy to best the old big bad guy type of thing.
But there is still going to be a big bad guy at the end of this expansion, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But for the Alliance, you're going to get a new zone called Coltiris. It's going to be broken up into 3 sub-zones, whose names escape me for the time being. Here we go. I got it right here. The first one is called Tiragard Sound, I think, and then the second one's called Drustvar. And the third one is called Stormson Valley. And there's a lot of lore surrounding all 3 of these zones.
Wow.
And it's very, very good. If you guys want to check it out, go to mmochampion.com.
Yeah, they go pretty in depth, looks like.
Interesting. So they get pretty in depth with this. Like, Tiragard Sound is led by Catherine Proudmoore, who is Jaina Proudmoore's mother. It's the capital of Coltiris. Drustvar is ruled by House Waycrest, who supplies arms and sausages to Coltiris.
Hey, you gotta have those sausages.
And then Stormson Valley, ruled by House Stormson, and they provide ships to Coltiris. And Coltiris is very maritime, like island.
Okay.
So there's a lot of lore around Coltiris, and a lot of people have been waiting for Coltiris to come into the game. So, next up for the Horde, you guys got a new continent called Zandalar. Which is pretty much an ancient troll empire. This is like basically where the troll empire originated, because way back in time, before any of the orcs and human stuff even took place, the only real race on Azeroth were the trolls, and this is where the start of their empire was.
Okay.
So you're gonna get 3 zones, just like Alliance. First one is Zuldazar. Next one's called Nazmir, and the last one is called Vol'dun. And there's a lot of lore surrounding that as well.
Yeah.
Once the level cap is going to be increased to 120.
Nice.
Once your character reaches max level, your characters are going to, depending on what faction you are, you're going to level in that faction zone. And once you reach level 120, then all the zones open up to you. You can go over to the Horde zone and fight some Horde if you want. War fronts are a thing. It's kind of like they're kind of bringing the RTS into World of Warcraft. You're going to have 2 bases, and it's going to take place in the real world too, which is kind of cool. But you got 2 bases, an Alliance and a Horde. You build buildings, and you send out troops to attack the other bases. You can attack the other bases with the troops. It's PvP and PvE. It's a lot of. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not just like a lame, like thrown in mini game, or like, oh, I got to do my daily quest. I guess I'll do my war front real quick. Like,
yeah, it's. I don't think it. From the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like anything like that. But
good. Hopefully it's something cool.
There's gonna be something called Island Expeditions. It's like a 3-person scenario, role agnostic. You can be whatever role you want to be and still be fine. It's kind of interesting because there's gonna be kind of like it's probably gonna be a good number of these islands that you can go on. Maybe like 5 to 10 islands you can go on. But every time you go to the island, the scenario changes. Mobs are different. Buildings are different. Objectives are different. Everything's different every time you go in.
Cool.
What else do we got? We've got. I could talk about that. I don't know if I want to talk about that right now. So yeah, story is obviously a main focus again, in just like this past one. There's gonna be 10 dungeons at the launch. The first raid is called Uldir. It's another Titan type of raid. What's that?
Sounds good.
I thought you said something else. And then, big thing too. So right now the servers in World of Warcraft are split between RP, PvE, PvP, and RP PvP. So there's 4 different ones. So they're completely doing away with PvP servers. They're not going to be a thing anymore. It's just going to be PvE and RP or probably something like that. And it's your personal choice to toggle PvP on or off. You'll just get sent to a different shard of the instance the server where you're in with PvP people.
Yeah, that seems like it kind of seems like a relic of really early in World of Warcraft's life, where you can you're hardcore playing on a PvP server because you can get ganked at any time or some shit like that.
That's this guy right here.
Yeah, I feel like it's not really a thing anymore. It's
no, I think World PvP isn't really that big of a thing anymore. I know RP servers try to do their own RP PvP events in the world, just kind of get more alive. But yeah, that's most of the features. Other things that I'm excited about, there's 6 new races. They're called allied races. They're basically sub-races of races that you can already play.
Yeah.
Alliance get Void Elves, Lightforged Draenei, and Dark Iron Dwarves. The Horde get High Mountain Tauren, Nightborn, that's what they're called, and Zandalari Trolls. There's
more coming after
There's
launch.
going to be more coming after the launch. Right now, the only way to unlock these new races is via a quest chain. You go to these races and you convince them to fight for your faction. Basically, you just do it on your main. You do the quest chain, and then you can go and create a brand new character with these races if you want. Along with that, they're adding 6 more character slots on your character menu too. So, yeah, lots of stuff. They're gonna have their own racials. And there's a lot of the information on the races are actually on worldofwarcraft.com if you guys want to go check it out.
Yeah, so it's not just like a reskin. They actually have different effects than I'm not gonna playing as a dwarf versus a dark iron dwarf. It's they're gonna try to make it feel different. It sounds like.
Yep, it is definitely gonna be different. What else do we got here? I've got actually that's about it. There's a lot of other stuff going on with World of Warcraft 2. If you are a big World of Warcraft fan, do head over to MMOchampion.com and you can check out all the stuff. They got all the panels.
They got a lot on there.
They got a lot on there.
They did
5 pages worth.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was BlizzCon.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just classic BlizzCon. I mean, obviously, what people are looking out for are World of Warcraft news about the expansion and the possibility of a new IP getting announced.
And Overwatch now.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get a new IP this time. We got a little Overwatch news. It wasn't anything too big. I mean, a new character isn't giant news for Overwatch.
Yep.
Big enough. I mean, but the big news of this BlizzCon is the new World of Warcraft expansion.
Absolutely. And then they also got I think they unveiled the Overwatch arena, didn't they?
I don't even know.
I don't know. Possible. They had an Overwatch arena and it looked awesome, and I just gotta tell you. So yeah, they had a lot of esports stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, because they're really trying to gear Overwatch towards esports, and they really want to hammer that in, that Overwatch is going to be an esport, and they really want it to be an esport. They want it to take off as an esport. So, I mean, a lot of their updates are kind of focused on making it easier to be an esport, and balancing patches and all that stuff to again make it easier to be an esport.
Yep, absolutely. So it's good stuff, all good stuff coming out of BlizzCon. Very exciting time for Blizzard. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
right
I mean, it's Blizzard. Obviously they have the biggest, one of the biggest games in the world in World of Warcraft. I mean, and they're one of the most popular games in Overwatch. I mean, and then it's nice to hear them talk about their less popular game, StarCraft 2. I mean, they still talked about it. Not Diablo, though. I mean, they have like the most popular digital card game, Hearthstone. So having them talk about that is always good.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they got so many popular games. So I mean, their games, pretty much all their games are so popular. So
Yep.
it's nice to hear that what they're doing and because they do a lot of like designer talk and like developer talk, and they really like go in depth on like talking about their thought process, creating these games and creating these expansions and the updates and the tweaks and all this stuff. It's really kind of interesting to hear about all that stuff because not a lot of companies do that.
No, not a lot. No. So, I mean, yeah, you don't hear anything about an EA con or a Activision
No.
con.
No, none of that stuff. I mean, you don't hear about, oh, like what's the developer insight behind Star Wars Battlefront 2? It's like, well, it's not going to happen. Like nobody cares.
Nobody cares. But yeah, I mean, good for Blizzard. They're coming out a long way. So
Yeah, I mean, all good stuff to look forward to. I mean, I'm a Blizzard fan, so I mean, this is stuff to look forward to. Maybe I'll jump back into the new World of Warcraft expansion when it comes out and give it a try.
definitely. And I am opted into beta, so if you guys see me streaming on twitch.tv/SgtMajorCool, I'll try to stream the beta as much as possible.
For sure.
All right, so that's going to do it for this episode of Chris and Zach Attack. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Help the channel grow. Get us to the 30 subscriber mark. We need that 30 subscriber mark.
On.
Can't live without the 30 subscriber mark.
I need my French fries. The only way I can get it is with money. And money, it's subscribers. The subscribers are money.
Subscribers all the time. Like the video if you liked it. Share the video with your friends. Comment down below. Tell us what you think of BlizzCon, what you think of World of Warcraft and everything.
Favorite Blizzard game?
Tell us your favorite Blizzard game. Exactly. And we'll be back soon with some more news. You guys take care. See you next time.
Bye.